Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you for joining me again today for a card making tutorial. If it's the first time you've seen this channel, I'd really appreciate some likes and subscribes. I try and post about 4 videos a week, so lots of inspiration with Stampin' Up products for you to be found here. I'd love to have you join me again. And today we are working with the Arranger Wreath stamp set. This is in the annual catalogue, the big catalogue, but as you can see it is a stamp set that can fit Christmas, Easter and various other occasions throughout the year. It's a beautiful wreath image in the stamp set, isn't that really gorgeous? And we've got this really cute partridge. We've got the pears as well, so we can have our partridge in a pear tree. Lovely little Easter eggs and this lovely little flower. I really love this leaf as well. So lots of diversity that we can get out of this, and it does have some coordinating dies as well. So these dies don't match up with the stamp set, but you can layer them together and do all kinds of funky things. There are dies for the pears and the hearts and the eggs, the flower, the leaf, all that stuff. So lots and lots to play with in the dies. But today we're only using flower. So I should say these are available as a bundle as well, so buy them together and you save 10%. But what I wanted to do was, whilst it's quite obvious that we could use this for Christmas cards, I wanted to do something that's a little fresher and springier, if you like. The weather is turning cool now, so I thought we'd have a little bit of a reminder of the summer with today's project. So just to quickly show you, this combination is Shaded Spruce and Poppy Parade. And I've just punched out the sentiment in the middle and done white on white layering for this, just to keep it really simple. And the centre of the flowers, I've put one of the gold gilded gems, which are really cool. And as you can just see in the light as well, that the leaves in the background are shiny. If the autofocus will play with me, that would be really lovely. Tell you, this autofocus has got a mind of its own, I'm telling you. Come on. For some reason it seems to see, it'll focus on my finger quite quickly. So they're the gilded gems there. So I thought the gold set off the whole Christmas feel, but you can see there that the wreath sitting behind has a glazed look to it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so let's get started then. So the combination of colours we're using for a bit more of a spring theme are Melon Mambo, Granny Apple Green and Mango Melody. Already cut some bits and pieces ahead of time, just so that you're not watching me doing all the boring stuff. So we've got a Whisper White card base in the regular size. This is a Melon Mambo piece of cardstock, which measures 3 3/4 by 5 3/8 of an inch, and then we have a Whisper White layer, which is 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. So that's going to be our layer. So I did white on white with the original sample, but I just felt like it needed some pop, so we're going to do some layering on there as well to bring in the other colour. So that's what we've got ready to go. So we'll keep that to the side because we're going to stamp onto that. So I'm going to bring in the Granny Apple Green, and we're going to bring in the Stamparatus tool. This is a superb piece of kit, really great stamp positioning tool. I'm just going to get my stamp case to put underneath the door. So you can see my wreath stamp is already in place on here from when I made my sample. The tool itself comes with two of these stamping platforms. Sorry, the stamp's just stuck to there, so I'm going to take that off for a second. It will come with two of these stamping platforms, these windows that you can fold over, and you can use them in tandem, but you can't have them fitted. You can't fold it away with both in place, you'll break the hinges, so I tend to keep one on the hinge and then one in the drawer for a spare if I need it, or I'm doing a technique where it requires both. And you'll get a standard foam mat which looks like this side, plain black, and it will be plain black on this side and a little more flexible than this one. That's the standard foam mat that you use with your photopolymer stamps, and we have a wipe clean magnetic base on the bottom. So I've invested in the additional deluxe Stampin mat, foam mat. So it's the same sort of style, but instead we've got this what's this called, like a wipe clean surface on it that we can stamp onto too. It comes with two of these bar magnets which are very strong. I mean you can barely pick them up. They're just really strong. I tend to only use one at a time because if they come together they smash together and they can break, and that's why this tape's on there. It just helps to just lift them off the surface, give you a bit of something to grip onto. Really great tool. You can get spare magnets and you can get spare door hingey things, and this comes separately as well. You can also get grid paper that's designed to fit on here as well, which I like to use as you know, a stamping, you know, if I need to protect my surface if I'm stamping off or something. On my other sample I used a different size card, so just bear with me a second. I'm just going to line that up. Because this one's a little tighter on size, I wanted it a tad smaller. So I'm just getting that roughly in position, that will do. And I'm going to put the magnet in place there. And what we're going to do is ink that stamp with the Granite Apple Green. Light tapping all over that image, it's quite large, so just make sure you've covered it all. Bring over the window and just bring that down and just give it a nice rub over the top, and you'll see the stamp make contact with the paper quite clearly, just as you would with a regular stamping block. Just going to make sure that that's, and I'm just going to lift it gently. If I lift it gently, it's less likely that the cardstock underneath will move, because I don't want it to move because I need to stamp over this again. So I'm just lifting that slowly so that the sort of the suction of the ink releases. I'm just going to grab my chamois at my drawer here and just give that a nice wipe over, get that as clean as possible. Oh, such a squeaky noise. So that's nice and clean, and then I'm going to bring in the Versamark ink pad, re-ink that wreath, which is why we needed it nice and clean. Don't want my clear pad covered in green ink. So give that a really good press over with that. And because the tool keeps everything in place, that will go over the top of that original stamped image perfectly, which means effectively we can emboss with coloured ink just by using this. So what I'm going to do is put that to one side, out of the way. Just lift this out of the way for a moment. just going to bring in one of these, this tidy tray, lift out the cardstock from the tool, and I've got a pot of clear embossing powder here that I'm just going to sprinkle over that, like so. So you can see that that image is now completely covered in that embossing powder, and we're going to heat set that with the heat tool. I'm just going to tip that away, back in the pot to reuse. Embossing powder will last you forever, because you could just keep gathering up the bits. So I'm just going to pause there for a moment while I heat set this with the heat tool, because it is quite noisy. So I'll be back in just a couple of minutes when that is completely heat set. Okay, right, let me pause you there. So here we are, we've just run the heat tool over that and melted that powder, and now that image has got this lovely gloss over it. It's not perfect, but it gives me enough of the effect that I want from that. So we can actually layer this with the Millamombo cardstock. The heat does make it warp slightly, but once you stick it down, that should be held nice and flat without any problem at all. Adhere that down like so. Give that a good press, and that's the base of our card done. On the original, I did lay it down flat on the card, so we can get that done too. If you would like to raise it up, you could do, no problem at all. Using Stampin dimensionals or the foam adhesive sheets, you could use either of those. Remember how deep the so this is a top tip. If you're not sure how deep your border was going to be, if you turn it upside down and eyeball it first, you can then flip it over and go, oh yeah, I know. And then, so I tend to line up the bottom and get the sides equal, and then that top edge should sort itself out. And then just give that crease on the top of the card a really good press. That's down the front, and we're good to go. I've already stamped the best wishes sentiment, which I'm going to punch out. And this is the fancy label punch, or Label Me Fancy, I think it's actually called. So I'm just lining that up inside the punch so that it looks like it's straight enough. I think that'll do. And get that punched out. Punches are very, very easy to use. This one also cuts out a ribbon hole or a slot as well, so if you wanted to add those details to your little label, you can do. A couple of dimensionals are all going on the back of that, and it's going to be placed in the middle of the wreath. I really find the grid paper is very useful different. It's very inexpensive, but it's a really invaluable tool when you're trying to get things lined up on your projects. Okay, so I'm just having a look at that, and I want it sort of in the middle, covering up the same amount of leaves on both sides, so that looks about central to me. Just looking at where the gap is there. Okay, and then I've also stamped and die cut ahead of time 5 of these little flowers using the Mango Melody ink, and I'm going to use my little foam pad that I've had for many years. I've got no idea where I got it from. And then this large ball tool, again, I've had for ages and ages. The tip of, if you've got a pen with a rounded edge or something like that, your bone folder will work to a degree as well. Just need to be careful you don't press a hole in the middle. And then I turn it over and press those middles back in, and it just gives them just this more natural shape. Just going to turn those back over onto my grid paper and put just a dab of wet glue on the back of each one. And we're going to position these here and there around this wreath. My other card, I just kind of did them quite almost, you know, sort of equidistant. You don't have to. Just how they ended up for me. And that's what we'll do with these ones. Sorry, a bit too low down on the thing. I was just trying to concentrate on what I was doing. And rather than use those gold gems, I think we will use some lovely pearls in the centre of these. You could actually colour these pearls in, actually, and I think there is there a Melon Mambo marker? Yeah, there is. Ooh. Shall we do some Melon Mambo rhinestones by, not rhinestones, what are these called? Pearls. Yeah. So alcohol markers, colour these in beautifully. It dries very quickly. I'm going to use the pokey end of my take your pick tool to just lift those off the release paper. Add those to the centre of those little flowers. Touch my finger. Could colour rhinestones as well. I thought the pearls would be nice. And there we have it, our springtime version, using our lovely bright colour palette. And there's our Christmas version. Okay, so lots of diversity that you can get out of that stamp set. Quite easy to look past it in the catalogue, but I'll say I just love wreaths. I think they're really pretty, and I really like how those have turned out. I do think the extra layer of cardstock really just makes that pop a little bit, so you could do the same with this one if you wanted to. And loads of other colours in between. There's loads of different greens and flower colours you could pick out. So yeah, have a play, see what you can come up with. Thank you for joining me. If you are interested in purchasing any products, do check the description bar. So if you click below here on the little arrow, you'll see some quick links to the specific products and the corresponding blog post, which will list all the every product that was used in the making of these cards. So the choice is yours. You can do that, and while you're there, if you could like and subscribe, that would be really great too. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your week. See you soon. Bye.